Junk Reanimator. Basically, just think of all of the good green, black, white cards that you can use to gain advantage over time. So you've got Thrag Tusk, you've got Lingering Souls, you've got Unburial Rites, Garruk Primal Hunter, which is, as one of my friends has said, the best Thrag Tusk is Garruk Primal Hunter. And what they mean by that is, oh, and then on the other side, Adam Johnson, Boros Aggro. Let's get to the match at hand. You can see Caleb started and is on the play. He's got 2 mana, Mulch. On the other side of the table, Adam Johnson has Mountain and Stromkirk Noble.
And that Mulch looks like it hit for 4 lands, which is pretty nice.
I wonder what he will discard.
Adam Johnson is mostly mono red. He has 8 white lands for, it looks like 4 Boros Charms, and actually War Priest of Thune in the sideboard, which destroys enchantments when it enters the battlefield. But he's your typical aggressive red deck. A lot of 1-drops. Looks like 10, and he has Stone Right also.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Ben Hayes. Let's call him the Ben Hayes. And we are here for the Star City Games Open Series live here in Cincinnati. On the left, Caleb Durward with Junk Reanimator. On the right, Adam Johnson with Boros. Turn 2. Mountain. Stone Right, and a little devil there. Your friend and mine, the Cackler.
We'll see what he's pairing Stone Right with, if anything. It doesn't look like he paired it, although he may have, and they may just not be stacked. Yeah, and here's the 1-drops we were just mentioning. Out the gates pretty fast. And we'll see what Caleb's going to do to try to stop this horde of creatures.
One interesting thing about Adam's deck is Adam is running main deck for Volcanic Strength. Now, Volcanic Strength is a card we've been seeing in sideboards a lot, and Adam is just going all in and putting it right in the main.
So Caleb comes up with Loxodon Smiter to try to block some of this. He also lost 2 life from having to put that Temple Garden into play untapped. So that sets him back a little. And see what Adam has to get around this Smiter. If he's paired, he could attack with the paired creature and trade. He's not paired. Okay, we've got information that he's not paired. So it's like Adam's thinking about and just passing.
Now, one of the things about a Smiter, as you can see, it is just a brick house. Adam has a great little force of attackers over there, but he's not able to go through without basically only getting through for a total of 3 damage and then losing a guy. He decided it's not worth the 3 damage. Basically, he said it's not worth Lightning Bolt to the head. I can agree with that at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he is trying to build something up, but looks like Caleb was able to discard Lingering Souls, and he just flashed it back. So that's going to cause more problems for Adam.
And we see Caleb creeping ever further to the 5 mana mark, at which point Thrag Tusk becomes a real possibility. So Adam, I think, is looking like he's in, I would call it, rough shape.
Yeah, and it looks like in Caleb's hand he has at least, I think I see another Lingering Souls, so he could possibly cast and flash that back next turn, which would be just a ton of blockers against Adam's army here.
We see a pair of spirits jump in the way of a 2/2 Noble. Now, I was talking with Patrick Sullivan about Noble, and previous to Gatecrash, we were not fans of Stromkirk Noble at all in red, but with the new red cards, particularly with cards like Boros Charm, basically the very, very short damage chain, I have reversed my position and I am pro-Noble once again. I used to be pro-Noble, and I am now pro-Noble again. But yeah, Patrick and I talked about how little damage Noble has been doing for us, and It only has done 1 damage in this game so far, for example, and now it's dead. But I think red has become aggressive enough again that it's back to being a card that's good again, in my opinion. I know the general opinion was that it was always good.
And it seems like people are playing a few more humans with the Gruul cards and the Boros cards that have come out in Gatecrash. So that makes the can't be blocked by humans ability more relevant, which is a nice bonus.
Now you can see on the left Caleb with 2 mana up and that Lingering Soul's in his graveyard. So that seems to be indicating something like an Abrupt Decay or some sort of instant ability like that. Caleb does not have that card at all. He does have 1 Ultimate Price in his deck, but I mean, I wonder if he was holding that up to make it look like he had it, or if he does have the Ultimate Price in his hand. On Caleb's turn, it's land go, and we see an Ash Zealot from Adam Johnson. We're calling this Boros aggro, but practically this is red with the lightest splash of white.
Yeah, red with really just Boros Charm in the main deck.
Yeah.
And Adam's gonna make Caleb pay a bit for not flashing back that Lingering Souls by playing an Ash Zealot, which is gonna make Caleb take some damage if he does choose to flash that back later. But between the Lingering Souls and the Township, Caleb looks like he's in pretty good position.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb is almost at the point where he can start turning his own creature sideways. One of the things about a deck like Junk Reanimator is it gets to this point where it can just start saying, you know what, how about I attack you now?
Yeah, and that's a very good place for Caleb to be, and pretty bad place for the red deck to be when they're being attacked.
Mulch picks up 3 lands.
So, looks like Caleb is gonna play another land and just pass with the ability to activate Township again and just continue to grow his creatures.
Adam Johnson on the right here, he's in the position that red decks do not want to be in. And that position, well, it is staring down creatures that are bigger than it with the opponent's life total very high.
Yeah, Caleb managed to get through this whole sequence of early turns only taking 3 damage, so...
You can see Adam on the right there. Looks like a young player.
Yeah. Not quite as young as I was when I started, but almost.
Yeah, but you started when you were like a literal small child.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe that... I can't tell if Adam is a literal small child or not. If so, if Caleb wins, he could be in trouble the rest of this tournament.
So, looks like Caleb blocked the Ash Zealot with his Smiter, and Adam is thinking about having a play during combat. And okay, we're gonna see him pump the Ash Zealot 3 times. I guess it's paired with a Stone Right.
Yep.
And a Township activation is probably gonna force him to spend 1 more mana, or
I don't know if they determined the order beforehand. I think that we might have a little bit of, I think there might have been some sloppiness there because it looked like there was a moment of confusion about what was going to happen. And I think it was that they hadn't actually declared the order.
Oh, okay.
After combat, another devil comes down to Cackler. And I think he indicated with his hand that he was pairing it. But it looks like he is not... going to put the token on it, so he can block with it.
So that could be important once, if Caleb gets to the point where he is attacking. Looks like Caleb has another Lingering Souls, so that could be coming pretty soon. And yeah, we're gonna see him cast Lingering Souls and still have mana to use Township if he chooses to do that.
You can see 3 spirits in play. One of them has 2 +1/+1 counters. A Loxodon Smiter with 2 +1/+1 counters. Facing off against 2 Rakdos Cacklers. One is paired with a Stone Right. The other has a +1/+1 counter on it.
4 mana. Oh, okay. For Hellrider.
Hellrider. And he pairs it with the unpaired Stone Right. Now both of those Stone Rights are paired.
So Hellrider could be a way to get in a decent amount of damage and pull Adam back more into this game.
You can see Caleb has attacked with his 3/3 Spirit, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it does mean that it's going to give Adam the opportunity to get in a pretty solid attack. Before combat,
wow.
we see the ultimate price paid by the Hellrider. That is the only removal spell that is in Caleb Durward's deck. Literally, I don't mean there are 4 copies of it. I mean that is the only copy of a removal spell
just that
in Caleb's deck.
And looks like Caleb has a bunch of cards, although I think a few lands at least.
And he mulches once again. It's going to be
more townships.
Township, Sun Petal Grove, I think.
And Caleb is just about to the point where he can activate 2 townships a turn, which is really going to start to become problematic for Adam.
From the graveyard comes one of the Lingering Souls.
And now that Ash Zealot's been taken care of, he can do that without taking extra damage. So Caleb thinking about his play. He's going to attack with a couple of spirits, maybe a few spirits.
And he's like, you know what? I am the beatdown. That's what he says right now. It looks like it's going to be a 4/4 spirit, a 2/2 spirit coming in, and there are several 2/2 behind, 3 2/2 spirits behind. The Smiter there he is.
Yeah,
there we go. 7/7 Smiter. And that's the Smiter that held off the entire army.
Yeah, this is the turn 3 Smiter that that Caleb had to pay a couple life for off Temple Garden, but it's really, completely stemmed anything that Adam was doing, and that's the game.
Yep. Smiter, I'm going to tell you, if you're a red deck, Smiter is one of your least favorite cards to see. Usually, in my experience, Smiter does more to affect the board than a Centaur healer.
Yeah.
I mean, that 3 life is not as good as that one toughness.
Yeah, having that extra toughness makes it, immune to Searing Spear. And what do these players have in their sideboards for these matchups?
I think the big thing that we're going to see from Adam Johnson, the big game changer for him, is Mizium Mortars. The Mortars not only can kill a Smiter, but in the late game, like we saw there, where Adam had like a reasonable force on the table, he could wipe out using the ultimate ability. How am I not thinking of that word right now? Spending 6 mana for
Overload.
his Mizium. There we go, Overload. Spending 6 mana for the Overlord on Mortars, he would be able to clear out most of the board from Caleb in the previous game. And I think we're going to definitely see Mortars. Now, the question of Pillar of Flame or no is a hard one, because you want to be able to kill a turn 1 mana accelerator. The classic game of kill the elf, whether it's an Arbor Elf or an Alison's Pilgrim. But at the same time, those pillars become completely anemic later on when you're at, say, turn 3. So I wouldn't bring in the pillars, but sometimes that might happen. The Bonfire of the Damned, though, seems like a reasonable card to bring in against a deck that's going to have a lot of Lingering Souls.
Yeah, and, between Lingering Souls and the 8 1-mana elf accelerants that Caleb has, I could see Bonfire doing good work. Over on Caleb's side, he has some Rock's Faith Menders that are almost definitely going to come in. An extra removal spell, an ultimate price. And he has a couple of Deathrite Shamans that, are vulnerable to the pillars if Adam does bring them in. But if he doesn't, Adam doesn't have a lot of ways to get rid of a Deathrite Shaman, and that's going to turn, every creature that dies into 2 life for Caleb.
Yeah.
Which could really add up. And besides that, he actually has 2 copies of Tristani.
I think that's going to be just a butchering.
Yeah, that's just huge. I mean, dropping a Thragtusk and gaining all that extra life off of it. Smiter even, turning his Smiter into basically a larger Centaur healer card we were talking about earlier.
If you're not familiar with Tristani Selesnya's Voice, Tristani Selesnya's Voice is a 2/5 legend, and it only costs 4 mana. So, given the 8 elf-like creatures, the Avacyn's Pilgrims, the Arbor Elves, and given the 4 Farseeks, a Tristani Selesnya's Voice could come down on turn 3, give you that 5 toughness, and then just be something sitting there to gain you life with every single thing that you drop. So, yeah, Tristani is, I think, going to be a huge, huge problem. And I don't know. I mean, Caleb has won game 1, certainly. But on the back of cards like Deathrite Shaman, on the back of Rock's Faithmender, and on the back of a card like Tristani, I think that what we're going to see is it shift even more in Caleb Durward's favor after sideboard.
Yeah, and that 5 toughness is important. I mean, Adam, between his deck and sideboard, can't get rid of the Tristani without using at least 2 spells. And he's already pretty light on burn that can target creatures, only having 3 Searing Spears. So unless he has a very large bonfire, he's going to have 2 spells or start to fall behind.
And a very large bonfire as well. That would mean that he had probably flooded. So
Yeah.
a large bonfire is not something that you'd be excited about. I mean, yes, it's great when you get the huge effect, but that would also necessitate probably a weak draw from him in order for that to happen.
Right, and a longer game, which is probably going to favor Caleb with these strong anti-red cards that he's bringing in.
I mean, particularly, Caleb is a deck that is very likely to have the mana to do whatever he wants once we get to that stage. So, I mean, I think what's going to happen for Adam to win this, he's going to have to get a very aggressive start, and Caleb will have to stumble.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with Ben Hayes for his first Star City Games Open Series. Welcome everyone, Ben Hayes, and hopefully you're going to see some great Magic. We're going to have some great commentary from me and Ben, and under the camera, we're going to have Caleb and Adam here show us some awesome, awesome games. That's my hope.
Yep.
Now, we try to bring you as much Magic as we possibly can this whole weekend, and one of the ways we do that is we have several feature matches that are over there by the cameras. If there is another feature match that we can show Magic playing happening with, we will do it. So, rest assured, we're going to give you as much Magic as we possibly can all weekend.
Yeah, looking at these lists, something you mentioned, which is that for Adam to win, Caleb may have to stumble in some way, and Adam will have to have a fast start, makes me like the Pillar of Flame a little more, because if Adam realizes that one of his most likely paths to victory is killing those early elves, then he may bring the pillars in and hedge on getting rid of those elves and hoping Caleb keeps a hand that might need the elves to function.
This is one of the really interesting things about playing Magic, is that sideboard path. Now, Pillar of Flame is a weak card against Caleb's deck when it's working, but you have to also think, can I beat Caleb's deck when it's working?
Right.
And maybe what you have to say to yourself is, I can only beat Caleb's deck if it's not working, so let's play towards that.
Yeah, and with that in mind, he may really want to bring in, the pillar, the mortars, and the bonfire, and maybe shave off something like Hellrider, which, is good, but if he's getting to that point, might be a little too late.
Volcanic Strength is an interesting question here. So Caleb clearly played earlier like he had an Abrupt Decay or that Ultimate Price. He left mana open rather than double casting Lingering Souls. Adam does not know how many removal Caleb has. Caleb has one in the main and one in the sideboard. But if I were Adam, I would probably have taken out my Volcanic Strengths just because of that. Just because of the Ultimate Price.
Yeah, and between the colors that Caleb is playing, you can expect him to have significantly more removal than he actually does. So, yeah, I would say Adam probably thinks that Caleb has more removal.
I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that.
Yeah, and it's not.
One of the things that that would happen then is that gives him an easy 4 cards to take out if he did go that direction. But the thing is it actually might be very reasonable for him to have them in if he's trying to get that best draw.
Yeah, if he's looking to play an early creature, equip a volcanic strength to it, and then try to ride that to victory. Boros Charm is another card that it does a lot of damage to Caleb, and it can finish him off, but the indestructible might not be coming up as much as it would otherwise if Caleb had more removal.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Ben Hayes. On the left, you see Caleb Durward, and on the right, that's Adam Johnson. And it looks like we've got our head judge there, and he's having a discussion with him. We'll let you know what's going on with that as soon as we hear from our coverage runners and the other coverage team that we've got here.
Looks like they're back to shuffling after a conversation.
Okay, so this is a cautionary tale, oh Magic players. One of the things you should do if you've got flip cards in your deck, you should make sure that your sleeves are such that you can't see the flip cards through them. And apparently, the Reckless Waifs in Adam Johnson's deck, you could see through the sleeves. So yeah, the head judge confirming with us that there was going to need to be something done. I'm presuming that since the sleeves haven't changed, that he was given some the proxy cards that come in Innistrad.
Normally it's a game loss. Because he called on himself before he could gain advantage, the head judge has the option to downgrade to a warning.
So Adam Johnson apparently called a judge over himself to say, hey, I think I can see my backs of my cards through this. What should we do? And this would normally be a game loss penalty, but because Adam called the judge over himself, the judge has the option to downgrade it, and that's exactly what happened. The head judge was like, hey, cool on you for being a good person. Here are some proxy cards from Innistrad, and we're good to go.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear when that works out nicely. So, speaking of the Reckless Waifs that are in his sideboard, it seems like that situation would imply that he did bring them in, and that makes me think he might sort of be of the same mindset we are, where he needs to play these early creatures, get Caleb on the back foot, and close the game out quickly.
Now, one of the things to realize, this makes him worse against Caleb's regular draw. But
yeah.
You know what? I don't know that Adam can beat Caleb's regular draw with anything. So, I mean, playing for the get lucky, this is a kind of an old school smart idea. If you cannot beat somebody on the merits, play to get lucky.
Yep. Yeah. And the Reckless Waif, being a 1-drop in. Oh, okay. So we're starting out here.
So turn 1, is that a 1/1 cackler?
Huh.
I believe that is a 1/1 cackler.
I don't see a counter on it, and
it didn't attack?
Adam didn't play a land.
I wonder if Adam is really just crazy rattled right now.
Oh, it looks like he mulliganed at least once, possibly twice. If he does have what looks like to be 4 cards in hand.
I think Adam might be a little rattled right now, because it looks like that cackler also didn't even attack.
Yeah.
And turn 2, is it going to be... yep, it's got a friend... What the heck? I am confused, Ed.
Not sure.
Best friends forever with the
lightning
the lightning mauler. But it looks like that devil just doesn't want to come over.
Looking through Caleb's deck to see if there's any reason why he might want to be leaving the Cackler back.
We see the Mortars, and
yeah?
for...
Huh.
I am confused, Ed.
Is this Cackler, they have a deal?
Tristani?
Cackler can't attack?
Okay. Adam double mulliganed, just for catching us back up to the past. Caleb single mulliganed, and we see Tristani make her first appearance.
So it looks like I don't think that Lightning Mauler is attacking. It hasn't untapped yet. Okay, now it's untapped.
Yep. And Adam Johnson reads Tristani, and I think he is going to be bricked right now by that.
He does have a Searing Spear, so his best option might be to attack with the Lightning Mauler and hope that Caleb blocks.
And Caleb's like, no, that's cool. I'll take 2. That's fine. Fine, dude.
Yeah, ultimately that Tristani is probably going to gain him a lot more than 2 life, so...
Ash Zealot joins the table and
wow.
rocks. Whoa, wah, wah, wah.
So Caleb is going to gain 10 off of that.
10 life. If you saw the finger point he did there, point. That was, I think, the sound of Adam Johnson's heart breaking.
Yeah, the 5 toughness off the Faith Mender is going to trigger Tristani and then doubling the life from itself. So, looks like Adam Johnson has a Searing Spear, and there might be another Mizium Mortars, although I don't see a 4th land for him to cast both of them.
Now, I actually, looking at Adam's sideboard and his main deck, I believe there is literally no way for Adam Johnson to win at this point based on what his deck has in it.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, it would take something weird like an attack, some blocks from Caleb, and then an overloaded Mizium Mortars to finish off those 2 5 toughness creatures, and Caleb's already shown that he's not interested in blocking with either of those very valuable creatures, so I just don't see that happening.
I mean, it is possible that Caleb could fly into a Berserker Rage and attack a Spectator. So, stay tuned to see how this game plays out, just in case.
So, a 5th land from Caleb. Looks like a Godless Shrine. And...
Geist.
Oh, wow.
Not Geist, Geist Honored Monk.
So that's going to gain Caleb more life than Adam is interested in trying to get through.
Yeah.
A bunch of life.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. That's a totally reasonable choice. And as I said before, what we're going to do all weekend is try to make sure that you get as much Magic as possible this weekend. So as soon as we are able, we are going to make sure we get another game under the lights